What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today we're talking about gearing up your character and filling up your vault as soon as humanly possible. Now, I just did this today. I literally just filled up my vault right now in about 25 minutes of time. Now, to tell you exactly what I've been doing here, I've been doing the brand new, it's not new, but like it's been nerfed and hotfixed to the point of being soloable now. So I've been doing the Zygor delve, and when I'm talking about filling up my vault, I have completed all 8 tier 8 delves to be able to get 616 item level pieces next week from the Great Vault. So anyone who's looking to fill up their vault from world activities such as delves for example, and get the highest item level reward that you can from that specific activity, doing this is literally so easy and so fast, and I cannot not talk about it. So we're talking about doing the Zygor delve, the 13th delve basically, the one with only one boss inside, and doing this takes you about 20 to 25 minutes to get all 3 of these complete. I just did it myself in 25 minutes, you can probably get it faster as well, but I played it a safe route. So let me talk about that delve first of all. Let me show you the location. So the location of the delve is right here. If you haven't been here before, it's basically in the City of Threads, or in Ashkahet zone, all the way down south and to the west, and inside the City of Threads, all the way in the west, you have Zygor's Lair. This is basically supposed to be the end boss of delves, and you can do this one on 2 different difficulties. Now, for filling up your vault here, you only really have to do tier ? But there's one more afterwards, which is tier ? which requires completing tier 8 delve with revives remaining. Now, for those of you who go to this lair right now and you're not able to do any of them, unlocking tier ? requires you to have done a tier 8 delve with revives remaining. So basically, you would have had to have done a tier 8 delve at some point, and actually completed the delve, not like with lives remaining in the delve, and that is how to unlock the first tier. And the second tier is doing the same thing on tier 8 delves this time, and then you will unlock the second difficulty as well. Now, for filling up your vault, you only really have to care about the difficulty 1, so tier ? as that is good enough to get yourself a 616 item level piece in your vault. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about how to do this delve and things to be on the lookout for. So number 1 is that there is a little bit of gear requirement to the delve, but the actual gear requirement has been reduced a lot recently, and it's way more about mechanics than actually having gear. And I'm probably going to try that out on some of my lesser geared characters over the next couple of days, because this monk is 600 plus item level, which is inside of the 600 plus recommended threshold for the delve itself. But I can definitely see this being done on a 570 character, 580 perhaps as well. Once again, it is way more about mechanics than anything else. So, for the mechanics of the delve, there's 2 things to be aware of. Number 1, don't stand in things, and number 2, interrupt things. That's basically WoW for you. Now, in addition to that, let's just go through the mechanics one by one as they happen right now, so I can talk a little bit about them. Number 1, this is the one you want to dodge. Not dodging this will usually result in a one-shot or about 80% of your health, so any frontal cone, move away from them. And when he casts the thing with the green things underneath him, which was like 5 seconds ago now, you have to interrupt that, or you will get a heavy damage over time on your character. Mechanic number 3, the boss will sometimes spawn these webs. You really want to deal with these webs, the cocoons, before they hatch. If they do hatch, they will spawn spiders, and those spiders will sometimes stun you and root you in place. Now, the boss does a lot of AoE mechanics, both frontal mechanics and AoE circles, that you have to deal with, and being rooted in place will make you get hit by those and basically die. So whenever you see a cocoon spawn anywhere inside the delve, go and deal with it. If you're a ranged class, that is super easy. If you're melee, then bring the boss to the adds and just cleave them down. You have about 10-15 seconds to take care of the cocoon before it hatches, so you have more than enough time. And what I'm trying to do whenever I see a cocoon, I bring the boss to the cocoon to be able to keep damaging the boss while moving him, and also cleave the boss down with the cocoon at the same time. So apart from that, you literally usually just interrupt the boss whenever you can. You don't have to do that, by the way. You can definitely survive the damage over time, but it's just annoying. And here you can see me getting stunned by one of the mobs because I did not pay attention that much, and he actually spawned a spider, so you got to see the stun mechanic, move out of these purple circles, otherwise you will get feared, and fears are usually bad, so just move out of those. And this is the one you had to interrupt, so go ahead and interrupt those whenever you can. If you see a cast that is interruptible, it is probably good to interrupt. And whenever you're moving around, just keep looking out for those frontal mechanics. They do hit really hard, and the boss will basically go on a rotation of casting those 4 abilities. Number 1, the one you have to interrupt, which just happened right now. Number 2, the frontal mechanic, and number 3, the AoE fear mechanic, and then number 4, summoning webs or cocoons that you then have to deal with. Apart from that, there's not really much happening in the fight, and Zygor himself, apart from those mechanics, doesn't really hit that hard either. I was able to go inside here with Bran as a DPS and still get the boss down without really having to self-heal myself that much. The only times you will need a lot of healing is when you fail the mechanics, so once again, mechanics over anything else. Now, as you have seen, this took me about 3 minutes of time to get Zygor down and get a loot at the end. This gives you 25 Valor Stones every single time, so you can use this to farm Valor Stones as well, if you need those Valor Stones to be able to cap, and 25 Valor Stones for 3 minutes of gameplay. You can do this delve 20 times in an hour, so that is like, what, 500 Valor Stones in 1 hour. That is not bad at all, and can get you a lot of valuable gear upgrades. Now I'm gonna play through the fight one more time, different fight this time, so it's the same, it's Zygor once again, but this is run number 2, and I have sped up the footage by 2 times, so we can now see this being done way faster, just to see the mechanics once again, to see what to move out of, what to deal with, and yeah, just looking at the boss fight, because for me it took me about 4 wipes to fully understand the mechanics, because I went here completely blind. But even if you do go here completely blind, you should not really have a problem. You will learn as you go, but for those of you who want to know the mechanics before you go here, well, I'm just trying to make it as obvious as I can, and you do see me fail the mechanics every now and then. Like, for example, I fail some interrupts every now and then because I'm panicking, or sometimes I happen to stand in a frontal. Now, the frontals take me down to about 10% health, and I'm using Bran as a healer, by the way. I'll talk more about that in a second, but I believe if you're a DPS, using Bran as a healer is definitely beneficial, because you get the boss down anyway, and Bran will help a little bit on DPS, but just having that failsafe of him healing you 24/7 just makes this way easier and way more, yeah, just way more easy. You don't have to think about avoiding everything, because even if you stand in a mechanic, even if you fail a mechanic, you will usually survive. And if I fail an interrupt, Bran will usually, and this has to be emphasized by the way, he will usually dispel me. Not all of the time, but usually he will dispel me. So even if I fail the interrupt, that is fine as well. But if you do want to make this go faster for you, picking Bran as a DPS can definitely help you out. He does quite a bit of DPS, especially if you have him at a high level, but having him as a healer just feels very comfortable when farming this delve. So at this point, you've now basically seen the mechanics. To do a quick recap of the mechanics: number 1, avoid that frontal; number 2, silence or interrupt that ability that he casts; and ability number 3, avoid and move out of the AoE fear, which is indicated by a purple circle underneath the boss like here; and number 4, when he summons a cocoon, go and take care of that cocoon. Basically, if you have Touch of Death like I do, that is a good time to use that one, and if not, just burst down the cocoon. If you're a melee player, drag the boss to the cocoon, and keep doing AoE abilities. Just cleave them down together, and you are fine, because you have a lot of time to deal with it. Should not really be a problem, and when you have this delve down, it is super easy to farm. You can fill out your vault for the delves in 20 minutes or 25 minutes, depends on your skill and your gear level, and if you have Bran as a healer or a DPS. Now, it is also worth noting that at the end of this delve, you do get those 2 heavy trunks that you get at the end of any tier 8 delve, or any delve really, so I do believe you can actually farm for the delver's bounty inside Zygor's lair, but don't quote me on that, but I believe so, because it's the same trunk that you get inside any delve, and you can get those delver's bounties inside these delves and inside those coffers, so you should be able to hunt and farm for those at the same time. Now here you can see the abilities that I'm using and my Bran level. My Bran Bran is level 50, I'm using him as a healer, I'm using the Porcelain Arrowhead Idol for the combat curio, and the Streamlined Relic for the utility curio. So yeah, you can use this delve to gear up your characters fast, to fill up your vault really fast, to farm those delvers bounties, and even to farm Valor Stones. It is a great way to complete tier 8 delves really fast, to once again farm Valor Stones, get your world activities done, get those tier 8 delves in the vault. I'm definitely using this on all of my characters, because once again it's so fast compared to running bountiful delves. I can do this 8 times in the same time it takes me to do one other delve. So yeah, just such a huge time saver on a weekly basis to fill up your vault, and especially if you have a lot of gear and you don't technically need gear from vaults, but you still want to have those 616 options. For example, on your main, this could be a very quick and easy way to fill up that part of the vault on your main characters. And if you have any alts, it's a super easy way to gear up yourself really fast as well. Now it should be said that this delve, it's a regular delve. You can do it solo, 2-man, 3-man, 4-man, and 5-man. The only thing is, the damage the damage will scale based on the number in your party. So I believe being 1 person or 2 people could be the best option here. But the more people you are, the more interrupts you have, for example. It is just, you have to be aware that everything suddenly deals more damage. Now, the character I'm farming on is 607 item level, definitely quite a lot of item level, but as long as you do the mechanics, there's not really anything that makes your health go down slowly. The only way to die here is to be really undergeared, or to fail a mechanic. It is way more about the mechanics than the gear. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. I just wanted to talk about this delve because, first of all, it's a good way to gear up, it's a good way to fill up your vault, and it's a good farm for Valor Stones. And number 2, it just got nerfed yesterday, so it's way easier to farm now than it was in the past, and you should definitely take advantage of that. In addition to that, next week, it's delve week. So if you go here to, not this, but September the 2nd, we have something called the Delves Bonus Event. While this event is active, delves will grant increased rewards for intrepid explorers. So what I'm doing, for example, is saving up my keys for next week, which means I don't even want to do bountiful delves this week anyway, so I'm just saving my keys, and therefore doing this specific delve this week is a really good choice. And then next week, when the bonus event is active, you can go back to doing regular bountiful delves if you so choose. Either way, that's the video, so let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments down below, and let me know if the video was thorough enough or too thorough. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, and leave a sub, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon. Bye bye now.